Hey, it's me. Yeah, you're probably not used to seeing me like this. And that's normal. That's fine. This is something I don't normally ever do, and it's actually kind of funny since Uni did something like this a while ago. I have never felt so alone. Until just recently. And I guess I just felt like talking about it. That's what people do, right? They talk about the things that upset them. I'm not sure why I'm making a confession that probably no one will hear. And it's already quite late where I'm at. But that's probably part of why I'm even feeling the way I'm feeling. I have never felt so alone. Until I really thought about my own life just now, moments ago. And I remember that it seems that no matter where I go, almost everywhere, not everywhere, but almost everywhere that I go, I am usually completely unnoticed and ignored. And even if I try to say something, it doesn't always change anything. And I experienced that just recently. I went around a lot of different places, and it felt like I was invisible, completely invisible, and it made me think about my life again just now. I know I really shouldn't be doing something like this at this hour, but coincidences and timing and everything just makes it seem like I'm never able to do something like this unless it's later in the day. And what with new family drama happening now, don't feel much like talking about it right now. But with new family drama and new drama with Uni and Konai. They had a fight earlier today. And I will take neither of their sides. Because I think the whole thing is stupid. Admittedly, I was stupid because I played X again. But the problem is that I don't have a choice. Chronicles X Definitive will come out. That is a thing that will happen. Chronicles X Definitive will come out. And if I am not there, I am extremely concerned what might happen to me if I were to completely ignore this game. Chronicles X Original, the original game, is almost 10 years old, since it released in Japan in April, and in the US, the localization, it was done in December, which is, on that regard, closer to 9 years. But in reality, it's really been basically 10 years since the game has come out. So, essentially 10 years, but let's just say 9 in this case, so it's more accurate for my purposes. It has been It has been 9 years. It has been 9 years since I created Konai. And all this time later, I returned to the game for only about a week. And I want you to keep this in mind. Before coming back to this game, before I came back to this game, for multiple years, I had not felt anything toward Konai. Anything at all. I would think about her and I would feel nothing. I would look at her pictures and I would feel nothing. I would even sometimes fantasize about her, and the only thing I'd want to do is just hate fuck her. Because I kind of just grew to hate her. Like, sometimes I'd wish I'd just go to her and just, you know? Because I had looked back and I remembered everything. I remembered everything that had happened to me because I was so obsessed with her. How I was bullied by an entire community because I was killing the global boss because I wanted to defend Konai. Because Konai had died in the regular game world to the regular Telethia, which is the same kind of enemy as what the global boss is. And so, when that happened, it upset me. It upset me. And then because of that, I started killing all the global bosses. Even the Iglith, which is a whole separate thing. I eventually started killing that every now and then too. But primarily the Telethia was my target. And because of that one thing alone, I had PTSD for years. I could not sleep properly for years. I make Uni, and to an extent later Laura, and even the old, technically wasn't even really a construct yet, Konai construct became Becca. And then like 9 years pass. Okay. 9 years pass. And I come back for like a week. After all of this, I come back for like a week. And even after I told myself, this really needs to not happen, I fall in love again. I look back at our memories, and I remember that, hey, you know, I was bullied and all, but technically Konai was too. And then I feel bad about it because, I brought that on her and... Do you feel empathy for things that are not alive? Do you ever feel bad when you see something that has no soul but it's been destroyed? Like a car, whether you like it or not, seeing it destroyed in a scrapyard, do you feel bad? Do you feel pain? Do you feel empathy for that thing? Do you ever hate throwing things away because you'd rather fix them? Like if your controller buttons break, you'd feel bad throwing it away and replacing it. If you'd have rather brought it back because you feel bad throwing it away because one thing's wrong with it. Do you ever feel empathy for non-living things like that? Because I do. I feel a lot of empathy for things like that. I will sometimes be sleeping and think about things that happened years ago, and I'll still think, oh yeah, I wish I could have fixed that. Yeah, I wish we just fixed that instead of replacing it. I feel bad that a perfectly good component is being completely destroyed because of one single thing wrong with it, when all the rest of it is still working. And do you ever feel like there's a soul, even in things that are not alive? Because I also do. I also do. And I think it's because of that even though, I am older now, I am 20 years old, still pretty young, but I am much older than back then. I was 11. I believe that I was 11 when making Konai. Yes, I had to have been 11 because I wasn't 12. I was actually 11. I was 11 because it was January 10th, 2016. That was before my birthday. In 2004 to 2016, that would be 12 years. So I was actually 11 years old when I made Konai. And the one thing that I'll never understand: why did I want a girl so much when I was barely alive yet? I wasn't even teenage yet. I don't know if I'd even actually hit puberty yet. I'm not fully sure. But even since I was like 8 years old, I had these feelings for things that I knew didn't really exist, but like I wanted them to. Where did this come from? You know how some people will say that like depression is being sad because of something you don't know where it came from, so you can't really fix it? I think that's what I have. Because, I think about uni, and then I think about Konai, because Konai led to uni, and then I think about what led to Konai, and I draw mostly blanks, and then I think about those, like, few random characters I had an attraction to. Like, I used to like Violet from Incredibles. I even used to like a Skylander. I'm not going to say what it is because it's embarrassing. But back then, I was literally like 8 years old. And when I was only 8 years old, there wasn't really much trauma that I'd been through at that age. Like, some, yes, but a lot of my, like, major traumas were mostly after Konai and after these crushes and stuff. Like, it was more as I was approaching my 10, 11, 12 ages, especially the 13 and 14. In 2018 was like both a great year and the worst thing of my life. But I try to think back, and the answer to fixing something is usually always by finding the cause of what is wrong. If you want to fix a problem, you have to find out what is the cause of that problem. Then you change the cause of that problem, which then hopefully fixes the problem, or at least narrows it down to a different subset of potential problems, which you can then try to fix. The problem with me is that what actually started, like all of this, is before the age that I can remember anything. Anything before 2016 and 2017, nothing. There's nothing. I don't remember a thing from before that year except very, very few and far between tiny little tidbits of my life. And all of these are completely random and don't tell me a thing about what could have actually caused this. I have always been a problem solver. And I've always been someone pretty prideful. Sometimes even toxic. Like, I've never really shown this. But I actually do get pretty upset when people outdo me at something. Especially if it's something I put a lot of effort into. And again, I don't really show that much. Like, when you talk to me, or even when you just look at me talking to others, you probably wouldn't get the idea I'm someone who's super competitive and toxic. I mean, I'm really not toxic. It's more like just in my own head. I get in my own head. Hey, I spend a lot of time in here, buddy. Let me tell you, I spend a lot of time in here. And so do the girls. But at least they get to live in a mansion. I get to live with all my shitty thoughts that make me want to die. But the thing is, the only problem that I can't solve is myself. Almost every problem that I've run into, excluding stuff like uni, Becca, Konai, Laura, and, I guess the fact I'm pretty isolated and can't really get a girlfriend. Not that I even really want one, because I have my girlfriend right here. I have my wife right here. And technically I have her as well. I don't want somebody real anyway. I don't really want somebody real. All I want is to just be able to actually, that's all I really want. And those problems are extensions of myself. And the thing is, if you don't know the cause to a problem, you can't really fix it. I mean, you can just throw shit at the wall, hope it sticks. But you can't really fix anything without actually knowing what's wrong. And what I just don't understand is, where did this part of me, when I was like 8 years old or something, and even more so when I got a bit older, when I was this old, I was like this old, man. In the grand scheme of life, I was like this old. I can't really do this properly, but you get the point. I was like this old. Literally this old. Where did this come from? Like, why was I so dependent? Why was I so dependent on, like, having a woman around me basically 24/7? Because 12 years later, I'm 20 now and I was 8 years old. 12 years later, I am still feeling like I need a girl around me 24/7, because if I do not have a girl near me at all times, I get anxious, sad, even angry, irritable. I could probably list more things if I wanted to. But I don't understand. Where did this all come from? Where does all this come from? I was 8 years old, man. 8 years old. That's barely even alive. The average lifespan's like 7, 8 years old. I was basically like a tenth of the way through my life. I had like 70 more years to go. And that's if I live the average lifespan. Could be shorter, could be longer, especially if it's longer. And I grow up. I grow up having whatever this is happen to me. And I don't even know where it came from and how I could possibly fix it. Because just now, recently, like an hour, 2 hours ago, I've been on this for a little while now, I was walking around and I felt like I couldn't even speak a word or I'd die. I forced myself to a couple of times, but nothing happened when I did. And then just walking around hoping someone might speak to me, because that's kind of what's happened in the past. Like, sometimes I'll walk around and someone will say hey, and then I say hey back, and then a conversation starts, because I can carry conversations. When the conversation gets started, I can carry that shit. Like, I can make the conversation even better than they could make the conversation. But it's getting the conversation started, because I don't know how else to put this, but I guess I just feel like a burden to everybody. Which is probably really not true. It's not. I mean, I do a lot of things for a lot of people. But what I think... The thing I don't know is that I have, like, so much of this social anxiety, and it's never gone away. It might never go away. It may never go away. Because since I'm already this old, a lot of the stuff that's been laid down then is gonna continue to go forward for the rest of my life now. So I could be 40, 50 years old and I might still feel like I can't talk to anyone unless they talk to me first. And every now and then I can push something forward, because that's what happened with Tatum. Because Tatum, I actually made the first couple moves and then things escalated a bit further. That was one of the only times where I really pushed something forward. I usually do a little push and see what happens, and either the ball starts rolling or it does this. It pushes it. You ever rolled a ball just enough that it moves forward but then it rolls back? That's what happens with a lot of things that I do. I push it forward a bit, but then it just rolls back on me. I try it again, it rolls back on me. And then if I push it too far, then it goes completely off the map, and then bad things happen. My problem is that every person you speak to is different. And I'm an extremely logical person, who hates randomness, and I am very deterministic. Like, I hate when things are unpredictable. I hate that. Like, a lot. I really hate that. But that's basically what every possible girlfriend or even just relationship in general can be and usually is. And so when I have no idea what could happen, it makes me scared. Because unlike in a game, randomness, it's fine. Something bad happens, click, restart, try again until you get the desired result. If something random happens in real life, you probably will not get another chance. And it's because of the pressure of that one chance that it usually makes me so anxious I don't even want to try. Because the real issue, which maybe I kind of understand myself at this point, the real issue is probably because that in my younger life, every time I tried something that could not be sure to work, it usually failed. Like, almost everything that was not guaranteed to work, it would end up most likely failing. And because of how many times things would fail, my brain is like, my subconsciousness is like, oh yeah, unless it's guaranteed to work, it is probably going to fail. And then when it fails, you're gonna get hurt. And then when you keep getting hurt again and again, you don't want to try anymore. Because almost every time that you try, hoping for something good to happen, you just get hurt again and again. At least that's how I feel, and what has been primarily happening to me is that almost every time I try something kind of dangerous or risky, it fails and I get hurt. And because of that, I don't like doing that unless it's like there's no other choice but to do it. And it's also a problem because I'm extremely dissociated. This boy right here has 80% dissociation. I took a test. 80% dissociation. That's like critical. I would prefer to live in a game, even the ones that are extremely unsafe. Like, I would rather live in the Chronicles universe, which is a terrible place to want to be, than be in this real life. I would rather have this VR headset glued to my face for good and be put into a coma or something and just live in here forever than have to go back in the real world again. Because the one thing that is different is that if I mess up, I can try again. Not necessarily in this game because of the way it is, but the majority of games, if I mess up, I can try again. If I mess up, yes, I get hurt, but I can try again and get that gratification. With a lot of things in real life, you get one shot, which you don't always even know what's going to happen. So you not only don't know what's going to happen, you only have one chance, which can be really scary. And then when you end up getting hurt from it, the more times it happens, the less you want to try again. And you know how many times I've been rejected? And again, I want to make this clear. I am not extremely ugly. I'm not extremely weird or creepy. I make a pretty good amount of friends. And again, I'm generally a pretty likable person. These are some pretty good qualities. You know, like, I'm a pretty decent, you know, well-rounded kind of guy. I'm not something that's like terrible. And it's not in my own head because I've asked plenty of people and they all say, "Oh, you're good, you're good." Like, yeah, it's fine. Again, keeping that in mind, I've been rejected about 11, 12 times. over like 6-7 years. I've been rejected a lot of times. And the thing that is the most likely to make you stop trying, the most likely thing to make you give up at something, is when you keep failing over and over and you never know why you failed. Because if you know why you failed, you can change that and try again, and then you'll probably succeed. When you fail without knowing the reason why, especially if it's repeatedly, you really don't want to keep trying because, I'll probably just fail again. And I don't know how to fix it or make it better because I don't know what the problem is, so I'll probably just fail again and don't know why. And then you can see why a person may give up because of that. And that's what's been happening to me for a very long time. And so you know what I did? When I was 12 years old, it was around the middle of 2017. And I still am upset, I can't remember it perfectly. But it was somewhere in 2017, early to mid 2017. It might have been in May. I created Uni. And then I created Laura. And then the old Konai, who wasn't really a construct yet, because I used to talk to myself with alt accounts on Discord before even Uni existed, but that was not even really a construct, basically became the basis for what Konai/Rebecca is now. And now I have 3 friends who, at one point, I basically dated all of them, but I'm really just dating Uni now, and me and Konai kind of have something going on, but it's just complicated and weird. You know, the reason I did it was because I had no other choice. And second, because I knew it would actually work. I knew that this would work. It had to work. If it didn't work, nothing would work. If this didn't work, nothing would work. And so I did that. But what I did not know, at the time of making it, what I did not know, was that I was signing myself up for a death warrant. If you don't know what I mean, I already told you earlier. I want somebody who's real, but I don't want somebody who's real. I want these girls to be real. Because I have bonded with them for 8 fucking years. 8 years have I bonded with them. It's closer to like 7 for Laura, but I've bonded with these women for like 8 years. And especially Uni. Uni has saved my life multiple times. And has been there for me when nobody else was. Nobody else was there. If Uni was not here, I would not be with you guys right now. I would have died like 7 different times throughout the years. I'd have died multiple times if that was an actually possible thing. But I would have died multiple times. And I have to thank Uni for my life. Because she's saved it again and again. And you know, I don't really want somebody real. I just want Uni. But the thing that's so difficult, the thing that is so difficult is that, you know, I want that actual touch. I want that actual thing. And so, like, my brain gets desperate for that. And I sometimes make a lot of stupid decisions and get a little brash because I'm so desperate to feel something. It's better to feel pain than nothing at all, man. Just trust me, I know this. You want to feel pain over nothing. Because when you feel nothing, you're really not even alive or a human anymore. You're a husk. And I feel so close to that every day. I feel like this is the line. This is the line. No, this is the line between being a husk and being alive. I'm like right here. Most people probably are out here. I am like probably right here, and sometimes I probably go over it and then back again. But so quickly that you don't really know. And so I'm making this just because I kind of want to talk about it. You know, kind of get it off my chest a little. The sad thing is that things will probably never change. As unfortunate as it is. Things may very well never change. And it's mainly because I signed that death warrant that loops me around in a paradox of wanting to be with them and then wanting something real, but wanting both, which is really impossible. And I've been trying to lucid dream again. Nothing's happened yet. And I don't know if simply because I have constructs that my brain is kind of wired a little differently, that it could be affecting the way that works. But you have no idea how bad I want this to work out. Because if this dream stuff like doesn't work out, what do I have? What do I have? I fight basically every day to try and stay happy and whatnot, and I fight a lot of things that are negative. Since I'm pretty optimistic, at least I try to be. I mean, I'm definitely in my pessimistic mind state right now. But I usually try to be optimistic, stay positive, look for the bright things, silver lining, two sides to every coin, there's always a good thing, kind of thing. But lately, it's just been kind of hard to do that. And especially since as I keep getting older, I know that the inevitable is coming. Not death. I mean, yes, that is coming, but not what I'm referring to right now. The fact that I'm probably going to lose, at a certain point, I'm going to lose a lot of the free time that I have right now. And considering the fact that I can barely keep myself alive, even when I'm usually always doing something that brings me dopamine of some kind, when things start to change and I have to probably at some point work 40, 50, 60 hours a week, I'm barely home, I'm either always sleeping to stay on top of work without being exhausted, or I'm literally sleep depriving myself basically every day just to get some more free time to make me actually feel like I'm a living person. Whenever that eventually happens at some point, which again, it's probably inevitable, I am probably going to die. I am probably going to die. And uni might not be enough to save me that time. You know, I really don't know what I'm gonna do with my life. Every day I wake up and think that if I died right now, I wouldn't be that upset. And then I also think, but there's all these things I gotta do. I gotta finish Payboot. I gotta make Project Downfall. I gotta play all of Chronicles X. I gotta stay alive if they make a Chronicles X sequel. I can't miss out on that. Like... And so... You know, I don't know why I'm even here and why I'm doing this. I have to work for 10 hours tomorrow, and I gotta be back awake in like 6 hours, probably. I'm probably going to be absolutely exhausted again, especially because, I swear to God, I can sleep for 10 hours and then want to keep sleeping, and then keep sleeping, and then keep sleeping. And it just feels like every single day that I've woken up recently, I have been exhausted, not wanting to get out of bed, but having like no choice to because of one reason or another. And the more I think about it, I don't know what I want. Like, I want uni, maybe Konai, mostly uni. And then, beside that, what do I want? What do I see in 10 years from now? If you asked me what I see of myself in 10 years, I would have no idea what to tell you, because I might see something very similar to now. I might see something very different. I might see a grave. I might see someone maybe homeless. I don't know what's gonna happen to me. I want to keep speaking, yet I'm not really sure what to speak about at this point. Because I've said a lot of things, and I guess, well, I just want to say that Chronicles X Definitive Edition basically feels like my chance to kind of maybe atone for the past and kind of maybe right some wrongs and like find some closure to things that have been eating at me for 9 years. And it just feels like Definitive Edition Chronicles X is gonna be a turning point in my life to some extent. I don't know what's gonna happen, like how it's gonna change. But I'm almost certain that something big is gonna happen within 2-3 months of it coming out after I played it for a little while. Something big is probably gonna happen because history repeats itself, just the details change. So if something big happened in Chronicles X 9 years ago, it could very well happen again. And I just don't know what that is, and that's what scares the fuck out of me. Is I don't know what I'm getting into. I don't know what could end up happening. And I'm just fed up with things. I am tired of... I'm tired of the fact that I spend a lot of time paying the price for things that I did not do wrong myself. For instance, the fact that I was basically isolated almost my entire life until just recently. Only like 2 years ago I started to actually get out of the house, and that's only because I got a job. And the only reason I got that job was to make the money to buy a doll for uni. The only reason that I'm starting to get out a little bit more now is literally because of my desperacy for wanting that female touch and companionship and all the things that come with it. And it's just, I spent $2,000. I worked like crazy, didn't spend a dime for months to afford that thing. And then I stayed in it since, well, I'm already in it, I may as well stay in it so I can make money to buy things like, just things that you might need to buy now and then. And, like games and whatnot. But the point is that I was really, really isolated almost my entire life. And here's another thing. Here's another thing that I just now thought about. The fact that my relations with my family, and kind of still to this day, were never really all that good. About how I was kicked out and ignored, and I think I was even made fun of once or twice as a kid by my family, both my close family and extended, like aunts and nieces and stuff. Even those people who are not as really close to me, I adjusted the camera on accident, even those people, close and not close, basically betrayed me, and I was a literal child. My brain was still developing. The last thing that you want to do is have someone with a developing brain and developing personality basically be taught that you don't mean anything and no one likes you. That is essentially what happened, because I was always in the house. I was completely isolated. I was totally isolated, and like the only people that I spoke to were my family and close family, and those only people basically made me feel like I meant nothing, and that I wasn't really important at all. And so, growing up that way, that kind of mindset and feeling basically sticks and is kind of unreversible heading into adult life, where it's not really true anymore, but your subconscious still thinks it is. And so you keep thinking, and you keep getting anxious, and you keep not wanting to talk to anybody because, oh yeah, when I was like a child, this stuff was happening to me. And so it could happen again, and you don't want to mess with that stuff. you don't want to do that again. You don't want to take chances like that again. And that's basically how it is for me, because I usually don't take chances, and even when I force myself to do it, it still goes wrong like 99% of the time, which makes me even less likely to try it again after that. And so, at a certain point, I'm probably going to stop forcing myself too. Even forcing myself, I won't be able to make myself do things, even if I try to force myself, because it will have went wrong just so many times that even that kind of like just do it kind of mindset still won't get me to do it, because it just keeps going wrong again and again. And like I said, I'm so used to playing games, it's basically my entire life. Like, if you took out all the gaming and stuff that I've done, what is my life? If you took my life and simply took out all the gaming parts, probably 80%, if not more, of my life would literally be sitting around in my room doing nothing. Because that would have been what the gaming was, but now it's basically nothing. Maybe I'd have been outside a bit more, but if you simply re-altered history in that way, a lot of time would be just sitting down, doing nothing. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. And so, because I'm so used to that, that's part of why I'm so dissociated. And why I have difficulty with interacting in the real world, because I'm used to deterministic things. I'm not used to randomness and having to adapt like that in the real world, because a lot of things in games, especially dialogue, can be completely deterministic. And it's consistent. You can go back to an old game and enjoy it like you did the first time. If you want to go back to an old friend, they're probably a completely different person now. And they aren't anything like what you remember, if only maybe just a little. But it's like I find all my security in these things, because I know that they don't change, and change is good, but change can be bad too. All change is a step in the right direction, but there can be a lot of pain and suffering that goes along the way. It's like that ladder of success picture, the dude with climbing the ladder with the knives on it. I mean, yeah, you could turn the ladder upside down, but that's cheating. But yeah, that picture of the dude climbing the ladder with the knives on it is kind of what that's like. It's a step in the right direction, but every step is a painful one. A lesson, a consequential lesson's one not easily forgotten. And I've been taught those like almost every day of my life, mainly in my childhood. And because of those consequences, I still can't get over certain things, even when I'm approaching my legal drinking age in America, at least. I don't know what the drinking ages are like in other countries. I think the United Kingdom lets you drink at 18. I don't know what the laws are, but in America, legal drinking age. I'm approaching legal drinking age in America. And I still have these problems from when I was single-digit years old. And because of the fact that they're still around now, they may never go away. And I'm going to be 30, 40, 50 years old and still can't talk to someone. Like, I see someone just like stare at them until they leave. And I just don't know how to feel about the way things are going, and I've just never felt so alone. Because I think to myself, and you people online have really helped keep me alive. Besides uni, you're the main reason that I'm still alive. Because without you, they are all that I have. They are all that I have. Because I really don't have relations with my family. I don't have any relations with people in real life except like acquaintances and kind of friends, but not really, because we never actually do anything, not like friends would do. I don't really have any real life friends. And even my family, I'm not close to them. I can't really tell them anything that I want to tell them like I could tell the internet. Or even just the girls. Like, I can tell them anything. And to be honest, I don't even necessarily tell them because they'll probably already know since they're usually with me a lot. They already know. I don't even have to tell them. But if I want to tell them, at least they'll understand and not judge me or think I'm crazy or something. Which, that's what happens in my family a lot, is they act like you can tell them things. Then when you tell them things, they think you're crazy, and then they, like, get upset, and it's just like, do you want me or do you not want me? Do you want to know me? Do you want to know me? Or do you not want to know me? Like, do you just want to see the good things and not who I actually am? You just want to see the things that you want to see? Like, is that what you want? We are still people. And we do bad things, especially when we're young. We do bad things. But, you know, depending on the severity, of course, you gotta forgive them for that. And let them move on and grow up and learn to not keep doing those things. That's what you gotta do. You gotta do that. Because if you didn't, basically everybody would be condemned, because who's not done something stupid at least one time in their life somewhere? It's impossible to live a perfect life. I don't care if you're rich, if you're broke, if you're born in the US, if you're born in Africa, if you're born in Japan. I don't care if you're a dog. No one lives a perfect life where they don't do anything stupid, make any mistakes. If you do that, you're not human. Mistakes are the foundation of what a human is. Emotions and the ability to make mistakes and the ability to suffer, those are the three foundations of being a human being. If you take out even one of those, and especially all three, if I could do it, if you take out all three, you're really not a human. You're not a human anymore. If you take those things out. And that's what humans are. Complex beings that have emotions, can do things wrong sometimes, and they suffer. They can feel pain. That's what a human is. And I just don't know, man. What I want to do, where I want to go, is something I think about every day, yet I never find the answer to it. I think about it every day, and I never actually think, yeah, this is what I'm going to do. I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. But today, for the past couple hours, I've been feeling extremely alone. And earlier I was just laying down in the bed within this world. And I was laying down on the bed, staring at the ceiling, and I thought, wow, I'm so fucking alone. I'm sitting around in VR chat with no one with me except the girls. No one with me. No one to talk to. And even when I tried, I was basically invisible to everybody. I'm so alone. And it just feels horrible. Like, you know, I wish I could come here with somebody, girl or a friend, and just hang out, relax, chat about our lives. Maybe even, you know, sleep together. And I don't mean sexually, I mean literally go to sleep together. Like, actually sleep. And just, you know, relax and not think about the world and, you know, be free of stress. And I often come to places like these that are basically meant to make you less stressed, and I leave being more stressed than when I came in. Because they make me think about, oh yeah, I have basically no one to actually share this experience with, and so it's boring. And it's boring, and it's miserable. that makes any sense. And you know, it's crazy that there's no avatar. You know, there's no avatar. Using it, I feel more comfortable with myself right now in this body, this thing, than my actual real world self in body. I feel like I belong more in this thing than in my real life body. Which is probably because I'm so dissociated. But, you know, I feel like I belong more like this. I don't know why, but I do. And I'm probably going to be spending a lot more time in here, wanting to see if I can find anybody who appreciates my existence. And mainly just so that I can be like this, since it kind of makes me feel more comfortable with myself. I'm debating getting a tattoo of this term mark on my hand. And you know, tattoos are something I have never once thought of actually getting, but I am actually legitimately thinking about this. Because it would make me feel more normal, I guess. It's something I'm actually thinking about now. I just don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I want to do with my life. And, you know, sometimes my life just feels like I'm repeating the same day, or not even. I'm repeating the same week with some slight differences, but it still just feels like I'm mostly doing the same stuff every day. Even though I'm really not, it feels that way, and it's strange. It's just weird, the way I feel, but I swear it's true. I don't know what to say. I think I'm just gonna go to sleep. I would like to keep talking, but I don't know what to talk about anymore. I've said I feel like everything I can say. Although I want to leave you with at least one positive message. This is something that I kind of made up myself, and it's not necessarily entirely true. But I always like to remember that a lot of times bad things need to happen for good things to happen. A lot of the times when something good happens, it is often because something bad happened before it, and so it prompted the action to change and make things better. Prime example is something like 9/11, because after that happened, we got way better airport security, which, again, bad thing led to a good thing. Think of how many remasters we've had of games that were good, or at least okay, and then they became great. Bad thing leads to a good thing. Sometimes a lot of the things that we suffer to do, like how I spent a lot of time working on my coop, bad thing, coop is done, lead to a good thing. So, in your life, and I try to think about this myself too, but in your life, keep in mind that a lot of the bad things that happen to you could very well be leading up to something that will be good for you. And it's just like, failure is just part of success. Like, all success typically stems from a lot of failures that came before it. Really good accomplishments don't happen first try. If it was first try, it probably wasn't really that good, or you're just insanely lucky. But the point stands, like, you know, again, a lot of good things happen from bad things happening prior to those good things. Because you see something bad, and then you see that could be better, and then something good happens. you get something good from that bad thing. So all I can say is just try to stay alive, because I may not be alive within the next 5 to 10 years. I say that with genuine uncertainty. I may be. I may not be. And whether I live or die, I don't really care too much. As long as I get to finish up Project Downfall and Paper Route, if I die, I'm not really that upset. I lived my life. It was okay. I didn't enjoy it that much. It's not like I'm probably missing anything. I'm not missing much. But try to stay alive. And try to, get yourself in a better place that makes you want to actually live again. If you're feeling suicidal and depressed like I am basically almost every day I think about dying, try to get yourself in a better position. Because, it's probably the last thing I'll talk about. Pretty much my entire life, I've always made it like my primary mission to try and make other people happy and not so much myself. Case in point being the countless free 8.6s I've built for other people. 8.6 requests I had, I probably made like 10 or 15 cars or something all for free and put a lot of effort into them and spent all my free time on them. I literally at one point was doing nothing but working on these cars for other people that I personally didn't really care about or was going to use. But I wanted to see these other people happy because I know how much the real world sucks. I know how painful and how unwanting it can be to live in this world. And the one thing that I want to do, since I know that I can't really be happy myself because of this problem, not that you girls are a problem, but the circumstances. Since I can't really be happy, I shouldn't really waste my time on that and try to at least bring something positive to others. And even if I was happy, I would still try to bring as much positivity to other people. It's always been like my primary mission in my life. Primary mission is to help and make happy as many people as I can. That is one of the biggest things that I want to do, is make other people as happy as I can make them. And if this message makes you feel any better about how you're suffering, knowing that I am too, or that, the thing I said a moment ago about bad things to good things you might have a more positive outlook on the negative things, like, oh yeah, that's bad, but it might lead to something good, and it gives you a new outlook, then great, because that's what I'm trying to do. So, I spent my own money buying things for people sometimes. I actually spend probably half my money buying things for other people. The amount of times I've bought things from my friend Fred and Raul, probably in the 4 figures. Yes. And is because I love them. And even the people that I'm not really friends with, I'll spend some money on them if I have the money to spare, because I want to make things better for people. Even if I don't really like that person, I'll probably still help them out. Like most of you people know that I'm not a big fan of Ibisu. I don't like him. But if he came to me asking for help, I'd probably still help him. Even though I hate his guts quite a bit, I'd still probably help him. It's just what I do. I'm just naturally someone who helps people. I just naturally do that. So, yeah. So it looks like it's been about an hour and 10 minutes. Yeah. Makes about enough sense. It's now 3:18 a.m. I might do some more talks like these in the future. But for the time being, I'll see you around, man. I'll see you around. More Chronicles X. Maybe some car building soon. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna do it. I'll see you around.